Welcome to the very first episode of Twisted Pine Podcast.
Ooh, exciting.
We're so excited to have you join us as we dive deep into, well, something we both know a lot about, homesteading. You know, we actually live this lifestyle ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking the talk.
Right.
We're walking the walk literally through our gardens and fields every single day.
It's true. And we know firsthand that homesteading, it can look pretty romantic
Oh, yeah.
from the outside. You see those Instagram photos, right?
Totally.
Lush gardens and those adorable baby chicks
Uh-huh.
and jars of colorful preserves.
Yeah,
It's tempting. It's easy to get kind of swept up in that idyllic vision.
absolutely. But we also know, really know,
Yeah,
homesteading is a lot more than, well, than what meets the eye.
for sure.
It's hard work, dedication, facing the realities of Mother Nature head on.
You said it.
And that's exactly what we want to explore today.
Yes.
Pulling from some amazing resources that offer a really comprehensive and, dare I say, unvarnished look at homesteading.
Ooh, I like that. Unvarnished. Good word. So what kind of stuff did we look at for this?
We've got articles that break down the pros and cons,
Okay.
classic stories from, like, seasoned homesteaders,
Love it.
and even some practical guides
Nice.
to help folks get started.
Very cool.
We're leaving no stone unturned.
All right. So if you're picturing homesteading as this like peaceful escape
Yeah.
from the hustle and bustle of,
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of modern life, well, you're not entirely wrong.
Not entirely, no.
But we're here to give you the full picture.
Yes.
The good, the bad,
Mm-hmm.
and the sometimes downright muddy truth.
It gets muddy.
Literally. So, okay, let's just kind of set the stage here. You, our listener, you're intrigued by this idea of homesteading.
Right.
Maybe daydreaming about growing your own food, raising chickens,
Mhm.
or even like generating your own energy.
Sure.
But you want a realistic view, right?
Of course.
You want to know what you're really getting yourself into.
Exactly. And that's what this whole deep dive is all about.
I'm excited.
We're going to unpack everything.
Okay.
From the potential benefits, you know, like financial savings, to the daily grind
Yeah.
and the inevitable challenges you'll encounter.
Oh, yeah. They're coming.
We want to empower you to make an informed decision about whether homesteading is truly the right path
Yeah.
for you.
Big decision.
Big decision. And maybe, just maybe, we'll bust a few myths along the way.
Ooh, I love myth busting. Like, for example, did you know that modern homesteading,
Yeah.
it isn't just about living on like a sprawling farm
Right.
in the countryside.
Right.
You can absolutely embrace like homesteading principles,
Mm-hmm.
even if you live in a suburban home
Yeah.
or an urban apartment.
That's such a good point. We'll talk more about that later. But the key takeaway here, I think,
Yeah.
is that homesteading is all about adapting these principles to your own situation, your own resources.
That's it.
But first things first, what exactly is homesteading
Yeah, good question. Like, what are we even talking about?
in the 21st century?
Well, it's definitely evolved. Like, we're not talking covered wagons and heading west anymore.
Thank goodness.
Right. Modern homesteading is so much more diverse. I mean, it can be like anything. Gardening,
Yeah.
raising livestock,
Yeah.
generating your own energy, preserving food,
Mm-hmm.
crafting your own goods, even just like adopting that self-sufficient mindset
Right.
in your everyday life.
It's really about reclaiming some of those traditional skills
Yeah.
and knowledge
Yeah. Yeah.
that have been lost in our, in our modern,
Our very convenient world.
convenience-driven world.
Yeah.
It's about taking control of your food sources,
Yes.
reducing your reliance on mass-produced goods, and connecting with nature on a deeper level.
I love that. What's interesting to me is that this resurgence of interest
Oh, yeah.
in homesteading, it seems to be coming from all these different places.
Right.
Our sources were saying people are drawn to it for different reasons. Some it's like concerns about food security
Yeah.
and the environment. For others, it's a desire for a simpler life, a more meaningful life. And even some people, they're just drawn to that satisfaction of creating something with their own hands.
I'm already sensing a theme here.
Oh.
Self-sufficiency.
Oh, for sure.
And that really resonates with me,
Mm-hmm.
especially after, I don't know, like witnessing the fragility of supply chains during, recent global events.
Right.
Knowing how to grow your own food, preserve it, even generate your own power,
Yeah.
suddenly it feels less like a hobby,
Yeah.
and more like a vital skill set.
Absolutely. And it's not just about practicality, right?
Nah.
There's a certain sense of empowerment that comes with it.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to provide for yourself,
Totally.
for your family. Imagine walking into your pantry, seeing shelves stocked with jars of tomatoes that you canned yourself.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Or heading out to your backyard to gather fresh eggs from your chickens.
Okay, now I'm hungry.
Right.
But seriously, there's something deeply satisfying about knowing where your food comes from.
Yeah.
Being connected to the whole process.
Yeah.
From planting the seeds to harvesting the bounty.
Absolutely.
And let's be real, the taste of fresh homegrown produce.
Oh, yeah.
You just can't beat it.
No way. And that brings us to another major perk, potential financial savings.
Okay, yes, let's talk about that.
Now, we'll be honest, there's often a significant upfront investment involved, especially if you're purchasing land, tools, or livestock.
Right.
But in the long run, homesteading can actually help you reduce your expenses.
Oh, for sure.
In all sorts of ways.
You're growing your own food, so you're spending less at the grocery store.
Exactly.
You're learning to preserve food,
Yeah.
so you're throwing away less
Mm-hmm.
and maximizing the value of your harvests.
Right.
You're embracing DIY solutions for everything, like cleaning products
Oh, yeah.
to home repairs, which means you need to buy less stuff.
Exactly. And if you take it a step further and start generating your own energy through, I don't know, solar panels or wind turbines,
Sure.
you can significantly lower those utility bills, sometimes even eliminate them altogether.
Now, we don't want to sugarcoat things, of course.
Yeah.
There are definitely challenges and downsides.
For sure.
And we will get into those in detail a bit later.
Yes.
But for now, let's keep exploring the good stuff. One that really stands out to me is the connection with nature.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an antidote to the digital overload, the concrete jungle that so many of us experience.
For sure. And our sources describe this beautifully, talking about the joy of watching those seeds sprout and grow into these thriving plants, the satisfaction of nurturing animals, and the peace that comes from spending time outdoors.
Yeah.
You know, observing the changing seasons.
It's about slowing down, tuning into those natural rhythms.
Yeah.
Appreciating the simple beauty of the world around us.
Absolutely.
And I think in our fast-paced, technology-driven world, that connection with nature is more valuable than ever.
Totally agree. And it's not just aesthetics.
No.
There's actual research now about the mental and physical health benefits
Really?
of spending time in nature.
Like what?
It can reduce stress, boost your mood, improve sleep, even enhance creativity.
So we've got self-sufficiency, potential financial savings, deeper connection with nature. Starting to sound pretty idyllic, wouldn't you say?
It's definitely got its appeal. But remember, we promised a balanced view.
Right.
And that means addressing the challenges as well. Before we go there, though, we want to pause here and issue a little call to action.
Ooh, I love these. Okay, lay it on us.
This one's for all of you out there who are feeling intrigued by this idea of homesteading, but maybe a little overwhelmed by the prospect of it all. You don't have to jump in head first and buy a farm.
No, you don't.
Start small. Experiment with container gardening on your patio.
Okay.
Learn to bake your own bread. Try making your own cleaning products.
Great ideas.
Using natural ingredients. These are all great ways to just dip your toes into the homesteading lifestyle and see if it resonates with you.
Love that.
And who knows, maybe those small steps will spark a passion that leads to bigger adventures down the road. Now, let's get real about the not-so-glamorous aspects of homesteading. We're about to uncover the challenges, the potential downsides that our sources reveal.
Okay.
So buckle up.
I'm ready.
And we want to be clear, this isn't about discouraging you. It's about equipping you with realistic expectations.
Right.
And helping you decide if this lifestyle truly aligns with your values, your resources, and, let's be honest, your pain tolerance.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be some of that.
All right, let's dive into some of those realities, starting with the big one, time commitment.
From our own experience, we can attest homesteading.
Oh, yeah.
It is not a 9-to-5 job.
Nope.
It's a way of life that demands your attention pretty much 24/7, especially during peak season.
Oh, yeah. Our sources painted a very vivid picture of this, describing days that start, before sunrise, tending to animals, followed by hours in the garden.
Oh, yeah.
Evenings spent preserving food or working on all those projects.
And let's not forget the constant problem solving.
Yes.
Right? Something always needs fixing, adjusting, adapting.
Always something.
Whether it's like a leaky roof, a fence that needs mending.
Yep.
Or like a mischievous critter trying to outsmart your latest pest deterrent.
They're crafty. It's definitely not a lifestyle for those who crave a lot of downtime or like spontaneity.
No, not really.
Homesteading requires structure, dedication, and a willingness to prioritize, you know, the needs of your land and your livestock, often above
your own.
Your own leisure activities.
Yeah. I remember when we first started out, I had this romantic notion of spending my afternoons reading on the porch swing, surrounded by the sounds of nature. Let's just say, reality hit pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And that porch swing collected more dust than
relaxation time. Right. And that brings us to another important consideration.
Okay.
The physical demands.
Ooh, yeah.
We're talking manual labor here.
Oh, yeah.
Digging and planting to hauling water, chopping wood, and, wrangling sometimes uncooperative animals.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's a full-body workout, definitely requires a certain level of fitness, stamina, and let's be honest, there's always a risk of injuries.
Oh, for sure.
If you're not careful. Back strains, cuts, bruises, all part of the homesteading experience.
It happens.
Our sources emphasize the importance of listening to your body.
Yeah, good advice.
Taking breaks when needed, using proper techniques, to avoid overexertion. And it's also crucial to invest in good tools and equipment that can make the work easier and safer.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget about the mental and emotional resilience homesteading demands.
Oh, that's a good one.
You're constantly dealing with the unpredictability of nature.
Oh, yeah.
Crops can fail. Pests can invade. Weather can just wreak havoc on your carefully laid plans.
That can be so frustrating.
One of our sources described it as this constant dance between control and surrender.
Ooh, I like that.
You're striving to create order, abundance, but you also have to accept that nature has its own agenda, and sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches.
I think that's a valuable lesson. It goes beyond just homesteading,
I agree.
It's about learning to embrace challenges. Adapt to unexpected circumstances, and find those creative solutions to problems.
For sure. It's about building resilience, physically and mentally.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about another aspect of homesteading.
Okay.
That often gets romanticized, but comes with its own realities.
All right. What is it?
Finances.
Ooh, money.
While there's definitely potential for long-term savings, it's crucial to be realistic about those upfront costs.
Oh, yeah. Getting started. Land, tools, livestock, seeds, building materials.
Yeah, it adds up.
It adds up quickly. Our sources, they advise aspiring homesteaders to create a detailed budget and be prepared for unexpected expenses. Things break.
Always something, right?
Animals get sick. Weather events can happen. And sometimes you just need to invest in better equipment to make your life easier.
Makes sense.
And if you're planning to generate income from your homestead...
Oh, yeah, like selling stuff.
Whether it's through selling produce, eggs, handmade goods, it's important to research those local markets.
Okay.
Understand pricing structures, and be prepared for fluctuations in demand.
It's a business, after all.
It is. It's also crucial to factor in the time and labor involved in producing and marketing your products. It's not just about setting up a roadside stand and watching the money roll in.
Which brings us to another potential challenge.
Okay, what's that?
The risk of social isolation.
Oh, that's a good one. Especially for folks who choose to homestead in more remote locations.
Yeah, when your days are filled with, tending to your land and livestock.
Right.
It can be easy to let those social connections slip.
They do. Our sources highlighted the importance of making a conscious effort to stay connected with the outside world, whether it's through joining local community groups, attending farmers markets, or even just making time for phone calls and visits with friends and family.
Yeah, good old-fashioned connection. And thankfully, technology has made it easier than ever to connect with like-minded folks online.
Online, yeah. Through forums, social media groups, even virtual homesteading communities.
So even if you're miles away from your nearest neighbor, you can still find support, advice, and a sense of,
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Speaking of support, let's talk about skills and knowledge.
Okay.
In homesteading, you're essentially taking on all these different roles.
Right.
Gardener, farmer, builder, mechanic, veterinarian, the list goes on.
And while there's a certain, I don't know, romance to figuring it all out on your own.
Yeah, the self-taught thing.
The reality is homesteading requires constant learning.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to make mistakes, encounter new challenges, and you'll need to rely on resources and guidance.
Mm-hmm. Our sources emphasize the value of investing in education.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Either it's through books, online courses, workshops, apprenticeships.
Yeah.
Or even just connecting with, experienced homesteaders.
Right.
Who are willing to share what they know.
It's like that old saying, right?
Yeah.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Well, homesteading might not require a whole village.
True.
But having a network of mentors, fellow homesteaders, or even just supportive friends and family can make a world of difference.
For sure. One thing that really struck me as we were going through all these sources was the emphasis on starting small.
Oh, starting small, yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in that,
the grand vision.
That grand vision of a fully self-sufficient homestead.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's a process.
It really is.
Yeah.
It unfolds over time.
It does.
I remember when we first started.
Oh, yeah.
We were so eager to do everything at once, build a huge garden, get chickens, goats, like the works.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But looking back, I'm glad we paced ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed us to learn as we went, avoid getting overwhelmed,
right,
and really appreciate each step.
Yeah, I think starting small also lets you, gauge your commitment level, right?
That's true.
And see if this lifestyle really matches your expectations. Maybe you start with, a few raised beds for vegetables and a small flock of chickens.
Yeah.
If you're, thriving in that environment, then you can gradually expand.
And that brings us to another crucial piece of advice.
Okay, what's that?
From our sources. Set realistic goals.
Oh, good one.
Don't expect to transform your life overnight.
No, it takes time.
Homesteading is a journey, not a destination.
Well said.
It's about making gradual, sustainable changes that fit your lifestyle.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Yes.
Between ambition and practicality.
So maybe instead of aiming for complete off-grid living right away,
right,
you focus on, reducing your reliance on the grid.
Okay, yeah.
Like installing solar panels or practicing energy conservation.
Makes sense.
Or maybe your initial goal is just to provide a portion of your family's food.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Through your garden and a few chickens.
Totally manageable.
The key is to start where you are, work with what you have, and celebrate every step.
Love that. One of the things I love about homesteading is it's constantly evolving.
Oh, it is.
It's a lifelong learning process filled with experimentation, adaptation, and, let's be honest, a fair share of trial and error.
Oh, there will be mistakes.
Guaranteed. But that's how we learn. So that brings us to our final call to action.
Okay, hit us with it.
For this deep dive into homesteading, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Explored the pros, the cons, but ultimately the decision of whether to embark on this journey, well, it's a personal one.
It really is. So we encourage you to reflect on what resonated with you.
Yeah. What stood out?
During this episode.
What sparked your interest? What concerns do you have?
Yeah, good questions.
And most importantly, what small steps can you take to incorporate some of these principles into your own life, even if it's, just starting a windowsill herb garden.
Oh, I love that.
Or learning to bake bread from scratch.
Everyone can benefit from a little self-sufficiency, right?
Absolutely. And a little connection with nature.
No matter where you live, no matter what resources you have. And remember, that homesteading community.
Oh, yeah.
It's vast and welcoming. There are tons of resources available, from books, online forums, to local workshops and mentors.
People who are eager to share their knowledge, offer their support.
So don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions.
Yeah.
Connect with others who are on this path. And if you're feeling inspired to share your own experiences or thoughts on this episode, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. You can find us on social media.
Yep.
Or drop us an email. We're always excited to connect with fellow homesteading enthusiasts.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into homesteading.
We hope you found it informative, insightful, and maybe even a little inspiring.
Until next time, happy homesteading.
And thanks for listening to the Twisted Pine Podcast.